sex. The problem I have with the transgender argument is that people are arguing that there is no objective standard, that no objective standard exists by which I can determine sex. I can have every single biological characteristic of a male, and if I say I am female, then I am female. This is anti-scientific nonsense.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Facts Over Feelings Masterclass.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to First Reaction TV. My name is J Mart. So tonight we are back at Middleborough Public Schools. Now, just recently, a 12-year-old boy there named Liam was sent home from school because he wore a t-shirt stating there are only two genders. Now, he had the option to either take it off, or if he didn't remove the shirt, he was going to be sent home. He chose to keep the shirt on, and he had to be picked up from school. So that brings us back to tonight for round number 2. Now, this has apparently caused a massive controversy throughout the entire school system. So there are parents on both sides of this that speak up tonight, and we're going to find out about our feelings, and then we're going to find out about some facts too. So please make sure you enjoy the video, hit that like button, comment, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you. Good evening, Bridget Kearns. I'm here to stand with Liam tonight because I feel that the Middleborough School and the community and their actions are failing them. He is being made an example and marginalized for his beliefs. He is told that his shirt that states his belief that there are only two genders is a disruption and violates the dress code that implies hate speech towards a protected class. This is a manipulation of the words on his shirt, and imply has no place in the dress code, nor should hate speech only apply to those in a protected class. Hate speech is hate speech, and it applies to everybody. You created rules that only apply to certain children while exempting others from being held to the same standard. As I have said before, creating policy that establishes two sets of rules is segregation. If you allow shirts that state a belief that there are many genders, then you must allow a shirt that states there are two genders. Neither indicates hate towards another group unless you twist it by implying or inferring something to further your agenda. Both statements are a statement of belief, of which conflicting can peacefully coexist. His First Amendment rights do not end at the school door, and his 14th Amendment rights afford him equal protection under the law. Recognizing and honoring diversity is not demanding that one group's beliefs win over the others. It recognizes that our differences can be celebrated and peacefully coexist. One group should not be allowed to be loud and proud about their belief while the other group remains silent. Nothing on his shirt was vulgar, threatening, or profane. He did not act in a way that was threatening. If people felt unsafe, it was not because of Liam's words or actions, but an incorrect inference. Children and adults need help understanding the difference between an actual threat that makes them unsafe and feeling offended that someone else dare challenge their belief. Does the cross around my neck apply hate to non-Christians who do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God? Does it make people who are Jewish feel unsafe? Who implies that? It's not me. I don't have hate in my heart, and I don't believe that it's okay for you to imply that this little boy has hate in his heart for anybody else. Superintendent Lyons, there are actual threats going on that are being ignored, disruptions in learning that are left unchecked. You are so busy taking action against a 12-year-old boy for words on his shirt that you have turned a blind eye to actual bullying, harassment, and sexual harassment that is occurring across this district. No effective disciplinary response has happened to prevent ongoing safety concerns from aggressors. The overarching message I keep hearing from this community is that you are concerned about the mental health and safety of children, but this is often in lockstep with the references to groups of one protected class. All children are at risk of bullying and harassment. All children are at risk of mental health struggles. All children are at risk for suicide and suicide ideation. And I have news for you. This is not a unique issue for the LGBTQ community. All parents have primary concerns about safety for their children.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
So this is probably one of the best speeches I have ever heard from someone that doesn't actually speak for a living. You know, you have your Ben Shapiro's and your Matt Walsh's or other people that, you know, have a job doing this, Candace Owens. For someone to go up there and spit fire and say nothing but factual information backing up all the things she was saying and doing it in a respectable and to the point kind of manner. I mean, it was brilliant. Like, this is one of the best I've ever heard. I mean, she was just on fire, and you have to give her props for this. So let's go over some of the things she said, because she said a lot. First, she goes right after the school board. She says they're not doing their job. The superintendent isn't doing their jobs. They created a set of rules for only a certain amount of students, while at the same time having a protected class. She got straight to the point, and she gave a great example, saying hate speech applies to everybody, not just a certain group of people. And if someone can wear a shirt to school saying there are many genders and they can display their beliefs, then someone's allowed to wear a shirt saying their belief system. There's only 2 genders. This shouldn't be that complicated. And she says both beliefs can coexist peacefully. And that's another great point. They can. People can believe different things, and at the same time, you not shut the other person's belief system down. So then she brings up his First Amendment rights and his right to free speech, citing he doesn't lose his rights when he walks in the school door, and she's dead on about that. Once again, bringing facts. One of the most important rulings in a case like this would be Tinker v. Des Moines. There was a case where a bunch of students wore black armbands to school in protest of the Vietnam War. The school demanded that they take the armbands off or they would be kicked out or suspended. The students took this case the whole way to the Supreme Court, and in a 7-2 decision, the Supreme Court held that armbands represented pure speech, and that is entirely separate from the actions or conduct of those participating in it. The court also held that students did not lose their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech when they stepped onto school property. And once again, she is just up here dropping the hammer on these people, citing fact over feeling. Even though she may be emotional and have a ton of passion in this, she's still bringing a ton of fact to the table, not just going on emotions. Also by saying that if another group is allowed to be loud and proud, then we can't demand silence from the other group, which is just another fire line. So she finishes this off with some pretty tense and passionate words by saying there's a ton of kids out there. All of them are affected by mental health issues and mental health crises, and the school board is missing a ton of it because they're focused on one protected class. And she finishes this off by saying all parents have concerns, worries, and anxieties about their children. All parents are worried about their kids, not just parents in a protected class. And she makes the point that if everyone's focused on this one class, if everyone's worried about this one class, who's looking out for the rest of the kids? Who's looking out for people like Liam? Instead of sending him home, instead of telling him that his belief system's wrong and making him leave school, where are those people at, and who's looking out for the rest of the children? Because right now it sure seems like there's some kids getting some special treatment just because they might have different pronouns than other kids. Now that this woman is done, let's hear the rebuttal. Let's hear the other side of this argument, and let's hear from another parent with a different point of view. And let's find out if there's as much factual information coming from the other side, or if it's more about feelings.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Melissa Odie Morrison. I am also a parent of a transgender child. When I tell you kids wear rock shirts, I've been also a teacher here for 14 years. I don't teach here anymore. And we were always very careful about what children would say, and it was always the thing about kindness, maybe being in kindergarten, but we always tried to teach them about being kind and careful to everyone. And yes, some things are going to come out that may not be very nice, and we talk about it. But let me tell you about the gender thing. This is not about your kid being separated because of their shirt. This is about a parent and other parents who are afraid for their kids' lives.
Feelings.
This is not a little incident. And this is not the child who did it. There are parents behind this. And this is about their views and where they put them. I was afraid that day. I had to go to work. I had to get up at 6 a.m., go out on my front walk, and write a big sign that said, "Protect our transgender children."
Feelings.
Do you know how it feels to go home and wonder if your fence is going to be, have something on it, hate on it, or your house, or you have to tell your child, keep your head down?
Feelings.
This is his choice, what he wanted to do. It wasn't my choice. But this is what my kid needed to do to feel like a human being who felt comfortable in his skin. And let me tell you, if this happened 4 or 5 years ago when my son was there, he was suicidal.
Feelings.
His grades were so low, and we couldn't figure out because he is smart as anything. Anybody who knows Zane, he is smart. And I couldn't figure out why. I could not figure out why. And if you think I wanted this path for him, hell no. It was awful, it's hard, it's tumultuous. All your friends who were your friends are not your friends anymore. Parents don't want to be friends with you. That might be catchy. Those kids can't understand. It's hard for us to understand. How can you understand if you are not in that situation?
Feelings.
Well, you don't have that. Imagine, and this is an awful comparison, but imagine you're in a wool sweater, and it's so itchy and you can't take it off, but you gotta wear it every day. You gotta go in the shower with it. Everywhere you gotta go, you have to wear it, and you cannot stand that skin you're in. That is what it's like, but 10 times worse. According to my kid, I still don't get it. And I've had to do things that were so hard for me this whole time. All these things I've had to go through, all the things he's had to go through, and all these bills that are going on right now, 118 out there right now against transgender children.
Feelings.
And right now, if they pulled some of the things, my kid's in the middle of some of those things. And do I understand it? I still don't. It's very difficult. But what I do understand is I love my kid. I love my kid. I'll do anything for them. And even though it's not the kid
That's
who's
your
on the
3
problem.
minutes, Ms. Morrison, thank you.
This is where the divide is. I feel bad for this woman. She's obviously struggling with her own mental health, or she wouldn't be telling us a story about how she had to wake up at 6 in the morning and tell us about these imaginary scenarios. Like, that's one of the biggest issues here, is that they're worried about issues and problems that aren't real. Imagine if you had to worry about something being on your driveway or fence. Imagine if you had to worry. Everybody does worry about their own livelihood and their own house and their own children. Everybody does do that. But obviously she never had anything like that happen, or else it would have been the first thing she would have been crying about. Someone trashed my house and said this, and it never happened. She's upset about scenarios that aren't real. And that's where like this biggest divide is. The first woman that spoke with so much passion and facts. And she said things like coexisting. She said things like respecting each other. She said things like treating everybody equally. She said things like respecting each other's beliefs. And if you can't get behind that, if you can't get behind those things, where she's saying, hey, we don't agree, we have different beliefs, but you can go do your thing, and I'm going to go do my thing. Instead of that, the woman that just spoke's idea is, you have to believe everything I say. You have to believe that my son is this because I told you that, and because I had to get up and go to work in the morning. And like, does she think nobody else has to get up early and go to work? Does she think that no other parent out there worries about their children? Like, these people aren't special. You're not special. Everybody has these same anxieties and worries. And everyone goes through this on a daily basis. Unfortunately, we keep seeing these same arguments. We see a logical, factual, and passionate point of view saying, hey, we're willing to work with you. We're willing to let you guys have your beliefs. Let us have our beliefs. And then the other side is saying, no. You have to believe what I'm telling you. You have to submit to my ideology. And that's where this divide is, man. Like, how is not being treated equal not a good ground to meet on? How does that not a good place to be? It's almost like they want the victimhood and the victim status and the special treatment. It's like they're unwilling to give that up. Because I'm sorry, This is such an easy meeting point when you literally have a group saying, hey, we'll meet you in the middle. You have your beliefs, we'll have our beliefs. And the other group is just saying no. No. And the only reason for that has to be they like the special treatment. They like to be special. They like being the protected class. Telling you how dangerous their life is and how much at risk they are compared to everybody else. So after multiple parents spoke, the school board sat up there and they said nothing. Nobody addressed any of the parents that spoke. So I have a feeling this is not over, and we might be hearing more from Middleborough Public Schools. So make sure you stay tuned. But hey, tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Please make sure you leave a like on the video, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks, guys.